Beyond the Bridge. This is session 6, and this is the second part of that, the 6th session. And we're just about to set off from town, but as the party is gathering and preparing, Caedmar is testing his intellect about the tree, and having rolled a 25. Caedmar, you've heard about some cases of living trees, even trees which are mobile, either awakened by the power of a summoner, or by the natural energies of other trees that are similar, or those that shepherd them, druids. These trees have one thing in common. They are susceptible to fire. In fact, to your knowledge, there is not a single magical animate plant that is not vulnerable to the scourge of the flame. You also know that treants and awakened trees and things like that are very unhappy about fire, tending to react poorly to those that wield it. The scourge on the land is a bit more difficult. Without any knowledge of the specifics, it's very hard to determine. You've heard of blights. They are creatures born of vampiric blood that are
The
plants,
Gulthus tree.
surely, but who knows? But you know that these too are susceptible to fire. You know that blights are indistinguishable from an ordinary plant until their true nature is revealed, except through magical detection. You do not know of any devils or demons that would summon a tree, though there is one that looks like a tree. You remember somewhere from some obscure summoning book that perhaps you shouldn't have read, that Yochol, a demon far too fearsome for your simple party to handle, looks like a tree. But they are not usually found out beneath the open sun. They usually lurk on the demonic plane, or at the service of the foul race of subterranean elves known as the Drow. So all in all, you know that fire's a good choice. You don't know much without the specifics, and you're aware of the existence of blights and their link to the vampiric tree. As a point, the Gulfanis tree, while canon in D&D, is not canon in this universe, but the Born of Vampiric Blood bit is most definitely canon. So are we ready to set to travelling?
Yeah.
Do you wish to share some information with the party while I fiddle around with getting that set up?
I guess we should decide how we're traveling.
Yes.
If you share the information, could I roll a religion check on that devil tree bit?
You could, yes.
Stephen, do you share?
I stare around at my companions contemptuously for a moment and then regretfully share the information with them.
Understandable. Okay. So
What
yeah,
I
I'd
do
like...
not understand. Sorry. What I do not understand about all this is awakened trees and treants do not normally associate with creatures such as blights. These are evil, whereas awakened trees are merely vengeful when mankind encroaches into those areas they claim for their own. There is some riddle to be read here. We must be cautious.
Oh, one thing I should mention, Stephen, Cadenmore, you would know that all awakened trees, blights, etc., can be detected as more than a simple plant through the use of magics. If you are in possession of the spell Detect Magic, you could clearly identify whether a tree was awakened or not.
Yes.
So with a 16 religion check, do I learn anything new from what he told us?
The only connection you can find between devils and trees are trees that are wrought from the earth by devils that seek to beguile or trick humankind into bad deals or false hopes. Such devils usually, pose as some sort of natural spirits, such as a dryad or similar. only to lull their victims into some deal which they never quite can see as far as the devil can, and end up getting the short stick. But
Okay.
you know that those trees are usually trees, not wrought by magic into existence, but trees that the devil has chosen.
Okay, so I share that information, and from what we've learned, the tree it killed the little boy.
No. The information is that the tree sprang out of the ground overnight, about a month ago. The boy originally tried to cut it down and then fled. A woodsman came to cut down the tree, attempted to cut it down, and then was like struck dumb by horror. And the boy killed him, killed the woodsman, and then hung himself upon the tree.
Oh, okay. So
He
it's
wasn't like killed
probably
by
not
the
a
tree,
devil.
but went mad with grief.
Doesn't seem like there was a deal involved.
Seems there's some fell aura surrounding the tree.
Yeah, I think it'd be best to avoid that. But I guess we should travel stealthily. We're a fairly stealthy party.
Yes.
Goodness.
Who of us is best in the art of stealth? Is the question.
Well, I've spent a great deal of time learning how to go unnoticed, but this is an environment that's not really very familiar to me.
If you were to put a number to your expertise in stealth, what would it be?
My number would be 6.
Hmm.
Oh, I have a similar number.
Okay. Well, mine is
I
5.
actually have to
So.
just-
What was yours, Zil?
I think it was either 5 or 6. Yeah, it's 5.
Okay, in that case, strangely, the paladin is the stealthiest of the rogues.
You're a Dex Paladin, which is already weird.
Yes.
No, we lost Stephen there.
Oh yeah.
That's okay.
Oh.
You have the octopus's loading now covers the screen with its garish blight. Meanwhile, can you make a stealth check?
I guess so. Okay, does anyone have anything that can aid me in any way on this roll? Like, a gun, I guess wizard would.
Can one of us give him help to give advantage
No,
or something?
you can't
Okay.
help him navigate. It's just he's navigating. The group is following. If one of you had access to guidance or was a bard,
Yeah,
you could
I was
use
thinking
those
something like that, but I guess
techniques,
not, because
but-
we don't have a cleric. So, yep, alright, I'll just see how it goes.
Cool.
There.
And you've got a 14,
Okay.
which gives you a glut of 2 actions. You can choose from hidden, spend a travel action to give yourself give the entire party advantage on stealth for an hour.
Yeah.
Element of surprise, spend a travel action to get a surprise round. If you're suddenly in a fight and you go, oh wait, no, we've prepared an ambush. Secret camp, spend a travel action to hide your camp during the night and avoid any encounters, or avoid danger. Just don't roll for an encounter. On the next,
So
like-
do we? So that one. How often were you rolling for encounters?
Once every move. You'll roll 4 times a day and once at night.
Okay.
I did do it to 2 encounters in the second and third week, because in the first week, they got quite a lot, but I don't know. Then the second and third week had nothing, so it was so I bumped it back. So you'll probably
that-
get killed by random encounters long before you get to your objective.
So that avoid encounter. Do we roll and then if
No,
it's an
it's just
encounter we?
you just don't roll an encounter.
Okay.
So you just go a march without rolling.
In that case.
It'll be most useful for you not to be rolling it as you march, but roll it if you know you're marching in a dangerous area, or roll it
Yeah.
if you're injured and you are trying to take a short rest and you don't want a random encounter to be like, oh, I see you're all injured. Yoink.
Okay. And I think that it's probably best to use them for the surprise if we do get one, and to make a secret camp if we need to camp up. That's what I feel anyway. So yeah.
Since you're traveling by stealth, you'll probably have to camp once en route. It's vaguely
yeah,
about
well,
a day
it's a
or
day's
so.
journey. So yeah.
But if
Yeah.
you were using athletics, you'd probably be at the farmstead before you needed to rest.
Yeah. Well, then again, and getting there, and if we do have to have a fight, we'd have to rest up. So it's good to have that opportunity to rest up safely.
Cool.
So yeah, I guess we just head on out southeast.
Okay, so the next step is I'm going to just give me a sec to acquire the doodad, because I'm very prepared,
there-
as you can tell. And
Is there a nice trail we can follow to the farm?
not
Surely there'd be some
really.
sort of path. He's
There's
got a
not-
trade route to it. We know that much.
It's like a wagon will come to Haven from Giles's farmstead like once a month, maybe even less frequently. I'm not a farmer. I don't know how frequently people export, but there's not a trail.
Well, it's usually a highway, so you can clearly see where you're going. It's got like borders made out of concrete, so you know.
I mean, there's not a you can probably get there without being lost, but it's up to you to discover it. So venture forth, go. So
Do I move it then?
So I'll basically just be like, okay, and then I'll say go, and you move 1 hex, and then I'll go.
So how many do we move per thing?
Just one. It's just
Okay.
one.
So
This
it's
is a
nothing.
very fine detail map. Okay, roll a d100. I apologize for the stream that isn't getting to.
Oh.
Twice bad, isn't it?
Uh-oh.
Oh, what did you roll? Oh, 91. So
Uh-oh.
as you exit Haven, could you please roll a d100?
Uh-oh.
Another one?
Please.
Ooh, 48. Interesting. Let me see. Where is it? There we go. No, not that one. It's... Where are you? There you are. Okay. Sorry, I have too many pieces of paper. No, it's not that one either. Wow. There it is. I'm being a dum-dum. Failing to find my own encounter tables.
If we're about to enter battle, we are missing one of our...
Yeah, I think it would be a good idea to hold fire on what you find as you exit town until Cadenmore returns. Then again, it might be nothing.
You can at least tell us what we see.
Oh yeah, that's the point. One of you is the scout, so I'll want one of your perception and stealths. So, person who's navigating, like the person who made the stealth roll, so Robin, you're navigating. One of you is also scouting, so I'll need their perception and stealth. So, step forth. Which one of you is it? Gabriel or Rhea?
Can we discuss our
Yep.
arbitrary numbers?
Feel free to discuss your arbitrary numbers. I have to faff about finding out things.
What's your
anyway.
perception?
My arbitrary number is 3.
Okay, I'm -4, so I guess I'll scout.
Okay.
Need to roll?
No. I just want you to tell me your numbers. What was your character? Sorry, your Rhea, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Sorry.
it's 4 plus 4.
Your perception.
Plus 4.
Okay, and your stealth.
Plus 5.
Okay, cool. Okay. So is there Cadenmore? Stephen, man down, man down.
Well, if this is indeed an encounter and it becomes hostile, then we'll be definitely using that surprise action. So don't know how that works out.
Yeah, if we get into like a fight, you might have to be a bit patient with me because Roll20 seems to have a 10-second lag for me now.
That's okay. In the meantime, Rhea, can you roll 2d4?
Skype's
2d4 of them.
I take 3
Roll.
damage. I fucking hope that's a good roll.
It's
Yeah,
good.
it's an excellent roll. You're
I feel
gonna
like
have
we
a
wanted
wonderful
low
time.
on that roll.
So let me just write down. You've encountered 21.
You see only 3 red dragons appear in front of you.
Oh, that was a fun session. Sorry, last session. Oh, all the random encounters were ancient red dragons. I just couldn't help myself.
Aw,
Um,
that doesn't seem unfair.
how long is Stephen down?
Come back to us, Steven. Come back to us.
I think I'll actually should I stop the stream and just restart it when Stephen comes, or can I just? I don't know. Does one of you have an interesting story to tell to the internet?
I've got a little story.
Ooh,
So this
Suppose
one
it-
time...
it's one
Go
time
on.
at Bandcamp.
No.
Does anyone play the Dwarf Fortress thing?
No.
No.
The incredibly obtuse ASCII graphics thing?
I've
I-
seen pictures of it though.
It looks very complicated.
Yeah. The main problem with it is its interface. if it had a proper modern interface rather than having to rely on your keyboard and shortcuts and all that, it'd be really, really something. But other than that, so I had a dwarf fortress. I was getting into my second year when a vicious elder beast came and attacked us. So it was a were porcupine, and it killed 2 guys that were just standing outside doing their things. So I thought, oh god, this is terrible. So I set up a militia squad and told them to go attack it. But I hadn't built any weapons yet, so all they had were fists. So after 2 days of punching this thing to death, it finally died, but left 4 of them injured. So I quickly set up a hospital, dragged these guys into it. And my hospital, I thought, keep the hospital nice and safe in a nice secluded area inside the base. And while there, one of them turned out to have whatever the porcupine equivalent of lycanthropy is, transformed and slaughtered every single person, man, woman, child, dog, cat, and duck in the fortress.
Or porcupanthropy.
Nice.
Oh, that
And
is.
that was the end.
So let's see
That
if
was
that's
the end
going to kill us
of
now.
Dimple Cups. The name of
Do
the
we find 4 porcupines? No, 3
That
porcupines.
is excellent. I am very, in fact, amused by this tale, and it seems that we have Stephen back. So,
Fuck.
as you're walking along,
Hey.
Hi
and
guys.
you have stepped boldly outside Haven and now stood in the fields that surround it and are marching forth, you see 3 people walking along, carrying spears and shields, and they're walking along, and you can see they're wearing tabards. You can't make out the insignia from them, but they seem just walking along, and they spot you on the horizon, and they go, "Oh, travellers!" And they begin walking towards you.
Spot all of us or just me?
All of you. They spot you first, and as they get closer, they spot everyone else. So, what do you 4 do?
Are these like tabards showing that they're clearly part of the town?
You can't see what the tabards display, but you can see, like, they've got spears, they've got shields, they've got tabards, and they're just walking along.
I pull my hood up.
I guess we say hi to them.
I prepare sleep.
Well,
Cool. So,
I just call out, "Hail, fellows! Who do you serve?"
Don't worry, if things turn like look like they're going to go down south, I have a very strong feeling that we could probably surprise them.
they walk up, and when you cry out, "Who do you serve?" they go, Haven, the Duke, I guess. Truman? And as they get closer, you'd see the twin short swords that are both pointing down of 2 swords that is the sign of Haven.
The paladin hears a voice in his head. I say to him, "Watch their tabards. Is there any sign of blood upon them? You are more proficient in this than I."
That's a good question. Well, maybe you'd ask our scout that, because he's the one that's the perception master.
Very well. I point to him and he hears a voice in his head. He does.
Are you a warlock, by the way? Stephen? Stephen down?
Oh!
I love that face. I love that face he's making.
I
perfect.
do. It does.
Yeah.
I think that's the message cantrip.
The message cantrip.
Okay, so I heard him whisper into my mind's ear creepy
Is there
things.
blood on their tabards? Which is a good call.
I roll perception. Advantage or no?
I mean, for this, it's just normal, just without advantage. I mean, where would you be getting advantage from?
It's up to me, isn't it, right? To decide where I get the advantage from. You know, whatever. 15 is fine.
Okay, I'm gonna put up the octopi of hiding. Octopi? It's a jellyfish. Why do I keep thinking it's an octopi? So,
They're very similar.
upon careful inspection as they grow nearer and nearer, their plain black tabards with these twin short swords facing down do not seem to show any sign of blood, though they do seem to show sweat.
Oh.
And I think we should try and wait for Stephen to re-emerge.
Another question for all out of character, your guys. How good are we at insighting? Because Maybe we can't see blood, but maybe their mannerisms and their sweat could give us some clues that we.
Yeah, I was going to say when they said they seemed unsure about whether or not they worked for the Duke, whether I could do an insight.
Yeah, you could do an insight check on that.
Would it most likely be
Yay.
you, Paladin? Joe?
Roll higher than that.
I don't think I rolled higher than that.
In response to your question, yes, they seem very genuine. They were just a bit confused by the question, like, who do you work for? They are obviously militiamen of Haven.
So I guess we're approaching them, but then we could just give them like a wide berth along the track, so we don't get near to them.
Question.
Yeah.
Have I seen soldiers in Haven?
You've seen militia, yeah, and the mercenaries that serve.
Could I perhaps
the Duke.
Compare the two of them? Like
these
is
seem
there
like militia.
Okay, so there's nothing specifically standing out between them.
Like the only real two forces in, or three maybe you could consider. The three forces in Haven are essentially the priest of the temple. He's a knight armored in plate mail. There are the militia, spears, shields, the tabards, and then there's the mercenary corps, which serves Truman, which is basically they're irregularly equipped. Some of them have shields with the crest of Haven painted on them crudely, but for the most part they're just mercenaries, so they're armed in whatever they have. But the mercenaries seem to specifically be protecting Truman's mansion. For what you've seen of the militia, yeah, simple tabard, spear, shield.
Okay, I walk up next to Gabriel from behind with my head kind of low, still hiding my face, and I say, whisper, ask them why they're here.
I'll just call out, are you guys on patrol?
Just returning.
Hi, you look mighty sweaty. What's worked up your heat?
What's it to you? It's hot weather.
It's not that hot, mister.
Is it hot weather, DM? Is it?
Roll a D100.
Yeah, I don't think you described the weather this time.
I
No,
didn't. I forgot to. Roll a D100, and I'm gonna look.
It's winter.
Silly.
It's raining.
As a point, yeah, I should. Oh.
It's not sweat.
It's
water.
Where would it be? It'll be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's currently the 3rd of February. Anyway, yeah. Did you roll a D100? Sorry. Hang on. Oh yeah, pay. There we go. Cool. Doop. That D100 come in there?
I'm
I'll
just rolling.
go.
Doesn't matter. Okay, I'll roll.
I thought you were the one rolling.
All right. Well, I guess
there we go. So it's currently sunny, bright, hot, brilliant blue sky. The weather beyond the bridge to the west is always quite hot and kind of even in what is now winter, it's quite warm and hot. It's not chilly like it is over here, freezing. So yeah, but it is quite early morning, so the midday heat's not really out.
Do they have like large backpacks that look heavily laden?
Yes, they do.
All right. I whisper.
Okay, go on.
But the
It
thing
might
is, so
just
do
be
we.
worth making sure that they're all kosher.
Once again, I creepily whisper into Gabriel's ear, ask them have they seen any battle recently.
I'll just we're out performing a task for the Duke ourselves. Just wondered if you'd seen anything dangerous further down the road.
And they go, no, nothing dangerous down the road. The bandits are the opposite way.
Out of character, what was the Duke's name?
Truman von Eristov.
Yeah,
What is the Duke's name?
I say, along the lines of what Zill was saying, I say, oi, we were just doing a job for Duke Ashton there. I'm trying to deceive them and give them a false name. See what they say when I say that.
They already told us. They already said when I asked them who they worked for, they said we work for Duke Truman. I guess. I think that was...
Did they say just the Duke or?
They did mention Truman, his name. They didn't say von Eristov, but they said Truman.
So now it just sounds weird when you say Ashton.
So when you say Ashton, they go, who's he? Confused.
Oh, you know, the Duke. It's his, or is it his brother? I can't remember.
I didn't know that Truman had a brother, they say. And by this point, you know, you're standing that awkward kind of distance where, you know, they're walking towards you, you're walking towards them, and you both kind of stopped. They haven't, like, walked up to you or anything, but they're just kind of standing awkwardly. waiting for Steven, you know, just kind of shuffling.
Steven's character just kind of has his head up in the air, drooling a little bit from the side of his mouth.
Oh, no, we have him back.
Oh, never mind. He's back.
I guess we should.
I'll just say, well, if you've no business, good cigars, we're just gonna carry on our way.
All right, and they begin to like give you a wide berth and walk around you and head back to Haven. Cadenmore, to recap, there's been a little bit of conversation between the group and the militia. Feel free to fill them in on your findings, and they're just about to like go past you, go to Haven, giving you a wide berth. Is there anything Cadenmore would want to like get out of them, or is there anything you want to question your colleagues for that you missed?
Well, since he hasn't heard, they seem pretty legit.
Yeah.
Did you obtain any useful information from them, my companions?
No blood. No.
They told us the road ahead of us was clear, so hopefully we won't run into anything else.
Guards, is there somewhere we might stay safe before we come to the farmstead of Giles?
Give me a d20 roll.
That's going to be... Hold on. 2. It figures.
Maybe that's good.
They go, safe? Well, you can get to Giles's farmstead if you walk through the night. But about 4 hours southeast of here, there's a big hill. It's not very nice. Don't go there. Anyway, good day. And they continue walking away.
Okay, I guess we carry on traveling then.
Cool. So if you just want to click and drag and roll another d100.
Okay.
You have encountered some militia. Not uncommon when you're 1 hex away from Haven.
If we'd had the same rules 5 hexes away from Haven, would it be red dragons?
And continue. So you can now see the hill that they mentioned 4 hours away. It's only 2 hours away from you now.
He said don't go there. Do we guys want to go around it or just... Yeah. What does he know?
This one or this one?
The only hill that's southeast of you.
Oh. So,
a hex is about 2 hours travel or so.
Just looking at it, does it look like a bad place?
Surrounded by smaller hills. Nothing untoward.
Are we afraid of a hill? Should we just keep going? It seems silly to walk around it.
Well, they did warn us for some reason.
They did, but...
Perhaps when we have some free time and aren't on a mission, we can come back and have an investigation of it. But otherwise, I would suggest we let caution prevail.
Yes, perhaps someday we will investigate.
Walking around it will take us more time, though.
Well, we're gonna. You said we're gonna have to camp anyway, so.
Okay.
We're already going to lose a couple of hours.
Just go flat south then.
Ooh, roll a d100.
In fact, I can see the front now.
Cool. Nothing the matter, and you still got one march in you before the end. And as you march, you can in fact see the farm. So roll another d100.
Blage, at this point, I perform a ritual detect magic, and I'm scrying ahead of us.
By now, wouldn't your owl have returned to us as well?
It should have done, but that has made me suspicious.
Okay.
What time of day is it now, Blage?
So it's now coming towards sunset. Night's beginning to draw on. It's not yet, dark, but it's around the time where you stop and start setting up for camp. You can see a collection of wooden buildings. Smoke rises out of the chimney of one of them in the center, about another 2 hours away, and you can begin to see some fields to the north. And you think you can just make out, like on the far side of the farmstead, another kind of area of land. You know that your owl should have returned to you 4 hours ago. And you know it being a magical creature, it shouldn't have strayed from your orders for any reason. So it shouldn't have landed or flown low enough to be snagged by a tree. But it has not re-emerged.
Witless creature. I just have to get myself a new familiar.
I was about to ask, does your character look sad? But you kind of answered that for me. So.
You misunderstand, my friend. My familiar is not dead, as you understand it, since it was never actually alive, in the sense that you might mean.
How morbid.
I will resummon it, and we shall learn what the witless creature has to tell us.
It did have -3 intelligence.
That's true.
So, do you resummon it now? Do you have the reagents with you?
What? Charcoal? No, I'd have to make some.
I mean the 10 GP of incense.
Oh yeah, it costs like tons to summon the familiar.
It costs 10 GP, and it's actually charcoal. So we could make charcoal, but I don't want to do it now.
It's not just charcoal. It's like incense and magical oils and unguents.
Really? Okay.
Like, if it is just charcoal, according to the book, it's bullshit.
Charcoal it is.
not
That's what it says. But okay.
Anytime the book gives some arbitrary number and it assigns something weird, I'm always assuming it's rare incenses or oils or something of that. Otherwise, it's just like, 10 gold for a stick of charcoal? No.
It's magical charcoal.
Magical charcoal,
Wizard
sure.
charcoal.
But how is it magical?
Yeah.
What magical effect does this charcoal have other than being expensive?
Would have been useful to know that before. Okay.
You can draw with it on water.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if you were thinking along the lines of thought of, I can just make some charcoal and just resummon it.
If you need a bit of coin, mister, we could maybe put a bit together. Summon it again.
Coin is not the problem, because now where do we get the reagents from?
The two of Robin and Gabriel, you would know that the merchant currently has a glut of alchemical reagents, some of which could be used for the purposes of summoning a familiar. He normally does not stock such things, but a couple of weeks ago he bought some from some adventurers.
Yeah, but he's back in Haven, and I need my familiar now.
This is true.
Right now.
That's kind of completely screwed my plan, because I was relying on my familiar to actually tell us what the danger was.
You muted yourself.
Ah, okay, that's going to be a problem.
Okay, so what's the scene as you have this realization and you're all setting down to camp? Does one of you want to do a scene for inspiration, like a flashback to your history or something like that as you settle down? I'm assuming for the long rest now. And are you making a secret camp amid the long grasses?
Yes, we're going to have a hidden camp.
Okie dokes. So does one of you...
I might need to drop the call for a second because I am not getting any connection at all to Roll20. I tried to refresh it, but it's just sitting there saying waiting.
Okay. Feel free to drop the call for a bit.
Yeah. Hopefully free up enough bandwidth to connect or something.
Weird.
Back in a minute.
In the meantime, enjoy a lovely picture of some cats.
Aw, they're fornicating. How
And
cute.
in the meantime, while he does that, does one of you three wish to perform a scene for inspiration? Or do you wish to wait the couple of seconds for
I want to do
Zill's
something,
return?
but it's not for inspiration.
Okay.
It's just...
What do you wish to do?
Well, when everyone's asleep, I'd like to snoop through everyone's shit.
Okay.
No, not stealing, snoop. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Distinction.
So I think
Maybe
that
you could
should
have
be
that
a
as your
stealth
inspiration
check.
scene.
Well, there's not much to tell.
Yeah, there is.
There will be if I catch you.
Uh-oh.
Did you just roll a stealth check?
No.
Yeah, you're back.
I will. So yeah, do you, I think I should get advantage because
No,
they're
it'll
sleeping.
just be they all have disadvantage because they're asleep and they're
Oh.
all using their passives because they're not watching from
Alright.
you. Um,
Alright.
do.
19.
There we go. Okay, everyone's back. Okay,
Wait.
cool. So I assume that no one has a passive perception that beats a 19, just straight off the
No.
bat. Okay, so I think how we're going to handle this is we'll start with you, Ria. Describe what this looks like. Like, everyone else is not on watch. It's your turn to watch. The night's progressing. By the way, roll a d100. And you're... Oh, wait,
no,
you
I
made a
count
secret
this.
camp. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah,
Forget
secret
that
camp.
d100. Whew, you're fine. So probably no one's on watch then. You're pretty proud of your secluded spot that you found. So describe yourself as you're snooping through, and then we'll get each character
Yeah.
as you snoop through their belongings to describe
So
what you
Rhea
find.
is kind of just, when everyone goes to sleep, she's just kind of lying, pretending to sleep, and then maybe like half an hour later, she quietly gets up with her rat in her pouch or whatever, at the ready, because I have a plan, and I go to snoop through all of their stuff respectively. However,
Okay. So first you approach Gabriel. Gabriel, you're asleep. You feel nothing. You might notice that your items are disturbed when you awake in the morning, but for now, describe the important things that Ria might find as she snoops through your possessions. And do any of these trigger like a little memory that you would want to gain inspiration from? And we'll do this going back through Robin and Cademore. As a point, only two of you will get inspiration, which is a bit weird, I guess. If you all
Just
being
do it for one
snooped.
then. So then, then two people get inspiration. Just describe one person's belongings and have that as the scene.
Okay. In which case, Ria, you are now limited to snooping through one person per long rest. Who do you want to snoop? You have Cademore, Robin, and Gabriel.
what a cruel rule.
I'm
Which
sorry,
one?
but
Okay,
the
which
law
one of
has
them looks
spoken.
most interesting?
I mean, which one of them looks most interesting?
Yeah.
It's up to you.
Like
Do you
out of the
wanna-
ordinary.
Which one of us
you know?
wants inspiration to describe?
I've seen tons of mercs, right? You know, they're just soldiers dressed as, you know.
Well,
mercs.
I have an excellent way that you could see something very nasty about my past if you want to snoop through my stuff. Because my daggers, I have a dagger and it's kind of semi-sentient.
Cademore it is.
Okay, so as you're making this decision, you see a glint upon Cademore. The
My
moonlight
eyes light
shines
up.
down on him.
My eyes light up.
So, Cademore, describe the pilfering hands of Rhea as she looks through your possessions.
Very well. At first, the items you find are mundane, but then you come to a large book. Its cover looks suspiciously like it might be made of flayed human skin, but with a shiver, you put that aside for the moment, and then a dagger catches your eye. It looks like nothing so much as a piece of polished volcanic glass, and as you stare into its surface, a vision forms. You see an elderly wizard standing in front of a mirror, and somehow you know that the mirror is a part of the dagger shard that you now hold in your hands. The old man turns and closes the door, and you can see the mirror covered in dust and realize that it is many years later. Now a small boy whose face looks oddly like Cadenmore's in some inverted fashion stares into the mirror, and his two sisters are outside beating upon the door, and the old man who was earlier attempting to divine what the nature of the mirror was. The boy sorrowfully looks back at the door and shouts, "Do not follow me!" And without a backward glance, he then presses his palm of his hand to the surface of the mirror and is swallowed.
Okay. So, Rhea, do you have a question that you wish to ask Stephen? And this could be out of character to expand upon the vision that you've just seen, or in character, like, what the fuck, wake him up and be like, dude, shit. It's up to you, basically.
Well, I'd say this actually kind of triggers Rhea's own memory.
So
The
there's a memory within a memory. Okay, yep. Inception.
Whoa! Yeah, one of her earliest, perhaps not even like a conscious memory. She doesn't like consciously remember it, but it's like a scene where it's to set the mood. It's a dark, rainy day, and a horse comes whizzing by in like the slums of Metropolis, a big town, and the woman, or the figure on the horse, is carrying something in her arm as she's riding. And then she stops by an orphanage that has a sign on it that says "Bone Thugs and Harmony" on it, and she sets the little satchel next to the door and knocks on the door with the, what is that called? The little ring,
The knocker.
Yeah. What? Really? Okay, the
Yeah,
knocker.
knocker.
Yeah. Okay. She knocks on the door with a knocker. Okay. And when the elderly woman who walks up to answer the door, she opens it, and there is no one there. The person isn't there. The horse isn't there. There is no one to be around. She looks down, and she sees this little satchel, and it's a little half-elf baby just looking up and doing baby noises. And she takes it in.
So
And see.
So you look into this strange dagger and you see what you believe to be a young Cadenmore, and it triggers this memory of your own youth.
We need to go
Correct.
deeper. We need
Okay.
more memory.
So, do you recall,
Leonardo DiCaprio actually stands behind me.
So do you recoil from the dagger, or do you just like move away with a
No,
kind of wistful
I kind of
skyward glance?
look at Caden with like a sentimental look and just put the dagger back.
Okay, so I think now would be a good time to take the second break, and we'll head into the third hour in a bit. So awkward silence ensues.
Okay.